channel. My name is Pratima, and today we have a very special guest, Durga, who has cracked CISSP on 1st of August. And she is a mother of a toddler and a working professional, a homemaker, and now a CISSP certified professional. Many congratulations, Durga, to join
you,
us
ma'am.
on our channel. Thank you so much for joining. And we are curious to know about what challenges you faced, how you managed to between work and profession and all that. And let's deep dive into it. And we are really curious to know about your CISSP success story. Welcome, Durga.
So, thank you so much, ma'am, for introducing me. Hello, everyone. I am Durga Prasanna. So, I cracked CISSP on my first attempt with 100 questions on August 1st. So, it has been a challenging journey, both as a new mother and preparing for CISSP simultaneously, and preparing for the exam while taking care of my kid and like navigating through all the domains and making sure I cover everything, making sure and knowing where I am lagging and where I am excelling in the domains. It made a lot of difference. And Manoj sir's CSSP success toolkit was the major. It played a major role in the success. So when I first started preparing for CISSP, so I started looking out for resources and for good instructors in the LinkedIn platform. So generally, I got to know about CyberNurse first through LinkedIn only. So when I started searching for a good CISSP tutor, so I got to know about the CST program where we can crack CISSP in just 100 days. So there were many resources available in the market, but there was no we didn't have a proper plan, like where we get the information, the notes needed to prepare, and the questions, the mock tests and everything. It was all in one place in CyberNurse, in the CISSP Success Toolkit. So the program was spread out over 100 days, where every student will be given their own access to the study site, to the LMS, where our daily progress will be tracked. And it is not just any other program where we will be just given like a boot camp kind of thing, where they just teach it in 7 days and we have to read everything on ourselves and we have to go through the mocks again separately, purchase the mocks separately. So it is not like that. It is like a complete package where we get the notes. After going through, we get videos of the particular notes for every day, and after that we'll be having some time for revision, and we'll be having the weekend classes where we'll be doing some scenario based questions. Highly recommended. Those sessions are really worth it, because all the questions that we do on the weekends does not only emphasize on the topics, but they also shape our mindset, like how to tackle a question, how so where to stress when we read the question, and what are the important points that the IC square is emphasizing on in every question. There will be some keywords, so where to stress on and how to understand the options for those questions. So this was all the mind shaping is important. CSSP is not only about knowing all the information, and it is about application of your knowledge. That is where the difference comes when we have to take the exam. So doing 150 questions in 180 minutes seems like a simple task when we see it on the paper. But when we try to attempt the exam, it is really a Herculean task, like managing the time. So many of the questions, there are like 3 to 4 lined questions. And even the options will be like 2 to 3 lines. So reading the question, reading the options again, interrelating the options and the question. So all this was made easy through the weekend gym sessions that were specifically tailored to CISSP requirements.
Was there any particular domain that you enjoyed the most, and what made it your favorite?
Yes, ma'am. So a particular topic that I liked was there are two of them actually. One is domain 5 and the other is domain 8. So domain 5 is the one which I work on a daily basis. So I felt it was easy when I read it on the paper, the syllabus. But when we deep dived into the domain 5, there were many topics which I didn't know. So all those topics when Manoj sir explained, it was like really like a cakewalk, the domain 5. And apart from that, domain 8 also, it is totally into SDLC, the software development life cycle, system development life cycle, which I'm not really aware of. We had many topics which was it was first time for me. But Manoj's explanations in the videos and the concise notes that we read after every video, it made it very simple and doable. There were topics like this containerization and such topics. So I knew them as some names and all, but I didn't know what they do. So what was the reason behind them, and why they were there, and why security is needed in those topics. So how Manoj sir explained with the real-time examples and the questions we did on the weekend sessions on those. So reading the notes and listening to the videos was one step, and the questions which Manoj sir made us do on the weekends, the kind of explanations he gave, the why, how, and what of part of the questions that we did on that domain made it really interesting and made it my favorite domain.
Sounds good. And okay, now out of our 8 domains in CISSP, which you found the toughest and how did you tackle it?
Yeah, so to be honest, for this question, domain 4 was my weak spot starting. So when I first started reading, all the domains were okay. So I was able to get on to the next domains after completing. But domain 4 was like a hurdle for me. So when I gave a reading of the domain 4, there were many protocols, many topics to read, many things to remember, different kinds of firewalls, different layers, and which protocol works at which layer, which attack takes place at which layer. All this was like a huge, lot of information on my head. Like it was so much to process. So, but there was one particular weekend session where we did domain 4 gym kind of thing. So in that, there were some questions. Like sir took some examples of some attacks and framed into some questions and asked us to answer. So while we were answering these questions and with sir's explanations, many topics became clear. Like why an attack takes place at that layer. Why only that layer is the answer, not the other one. And some topics related to DNS, the DNS related attacks, and all the network attacks, and all the OSI layers and the protocols, why they operated that layer, and the wireless communication protocols like Web WPA and WPA2. All those were explained very clearly. So one thing is, many people fear about domain 4 because it's a lot of technical information. So once we know why and what, so we understand more easily, and the memorization will not be an issue when we understand the concept behind that. But just plainly memorizing a thing is not going to be retained for longer days, or is not going to help in the exam when answering scenario based questions. So Manoj sir's explanations on the attacks and all, it helped a lot in understanding those concepts.
So have you ever faced any moment of discouragement, and how did you cope up or kept yourself motivated throughout the journey?
Yes, ma'am. There were multiple times when I felt that is this really necessary for me at this point, or am I really good enough to take this exam, or will I be able to complete this exam? So point number 1 was, it is really an expensive certification to get. It's a lot of money, to be honest, and apart from that, it's a lot of information to read. Like people say, CISSP is a mile wide and inch deep. Like there is a lot of information that we have to read, we have to remember, we have to apply, and the reading is one part. And when I started mocks also, when I see the questions, the scenario based questions and all, so it took a toll on me. Like so when I took the first mock initially, so I have all the information in hand, but answering the questions is also a bigger thing which plays an important task, like important role in scoring. So the questions, they have all the information and every option seems right. So answering these questions and all, so all these things also made me question, like, am I going to clear the exam or not? So, but so I spoke to Manoj sir just 15 days prior to my exam. So he was like, don't worry about the questions and all. So he also gave me a question bank where we had a lot of questions which reinforced the topics, and which I after completing that, so all the concepts I was able to recall. And the refresher sessions also, which we take on Wednesdays, they also played a major part. Like it was like a repetition, it was like a memorization again, not leaving the domain. So if domain 2 is completed, we are not again touching the domain 2. It's not like that. We again have refresher sessions which will help us to again revise those. So this periodic refresher sessions also helped a lot in overcoming all these.
So, I mean, how do you think passing CISSP will influence your career and your goal towards success?
Yes. So, like everybody in the cybersecurity space know how prestigious CISSP exam is, and how like it is not purely technical and it's not purely managerial. So we cannot just go into the exam unprepared, having a manager mindset, and tell we can crack the exam, or have a technique all through knowledge and pass the exam. So it's a perfect balance of technical information with managerial mindset. So anybody who passes CISSP will have a perfect balance of this. So I think it will help my career in climbing up the corporate ladder, like taking up some managerial positions where I get to take some decisions, like not just having the technical aspects of a issue, also having the managerial insights. So taking the exam, preparing. So what I felt after taking the exam was the toughest part of CISSP is not just the exam, even the preparation phase. It also prepares us to the next position that we are going to take.
Very well answered, Durga. And what one piece of advice would you like to give to people who are preparing for CISSP exam?
Yeah. So first thing is get a good mentor.
Right.
Yeah. So you might have a heavyweight book, or you might have the most expensive mocks, but it's not going to help if you don't have a proper mentor who can guide you towards your success. So get a good mentor who is available to you when you need, and be consistent. Consistency is the key. Like taking an year to read that is not going to help you. It is not like who reads the longest, who prepares for the longest time, but who prepares to the point is the deciding factor here. Know why you are doing this. So if without any proper like reason why you are taking this exam, you will not be motivated. The motivation comes from the why part. Why I need this certification, or why I have to be a CISSP certified professional. And if you're taking CST, just go blindly with what Manoj sir says, go blindly with the notes, all the questions, all the classes, all the weekend sessions and the gym sessions will definitely help anyone who is on the path of CISSP.
Thank you so much, Durga, for joining the call and sharing your thoughts and your insights with us.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
your experience is surely going to inspire and guide many CISSP aspirants over there. So,
Yes,
for everyone watching, please like, share, and subscribe to our valuable conversation and success stories from the field of cybersecurity. If you have any question for Durga, or you want us to cover up any topic, do comment below, and we are more than happy to cover up those topics for you guys. And thank you so much for joining the call, Durga.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
many congratulations once again.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. Thank you.